the truth right now is increasingly difficult to find because they have one version of it. By they, I mean the establishment, by the left, by these people that are just indoctrinated into this wokeness. And it's amazing to me because they are so adamant about this stuff. I mean, remember during March 2020 and the aftermath of that and the insanity over the whole mask thing. And if you didn't wear your mask like outside, for a walk, you'd get dirty looks and people would, get angry. And I do think that people got sort of desensitized and dehumanitized, right? In a way, like there was a sense that people first of all, you couldn't really see people, right? You couldn't see if they were smiling. You couldn't really tell in their eyes. So that was odd. And there was just this anger that was underpinning everything. And the left, in my opinion, took that to the extreme. In other words, they used it as a kind of virtue signaling. So if you weren't wearing your mask outside on a windy day with no one nearby, they felt perfectly entitled to give you dirty looks and to maybe harass you or say something unpleasant. And that was fine, right? Because you must be a Trump supporter. Oh, you're that half of the country that we don't like. And so the whole idea of truth and what could be said actually became very much vulnerable in that you couldn't. I'll give you a quick story. I remember once seeing a study from Oxford University. I believe, it was Oxford University, and it was on people that had suffered from strokes after having gotten the vaccine. A super, super, super minor portion of the population. Let me just say that before, people come down on me. But anyway, so the study was there and it was on marketwatch.com. And a friend of mine actually wrote the story. I used to work at marketwatch.com. And so I happen to know, okay, that's the reporter. It's the Cambridge study. It's on this particular vaccine, et cetera. And it was up at the front page of the website. And I was a little concerned about it because I was having, I had gotten the vaccine. I was having kind of a headache and some things that didn't feel entirely normal. So hypochondriac that I am, I'm not really, but I was just like, wow, that's quite an interesting story. So I went downstairs and I was going to call my doctor and I tried to find the story again. And I went back to marketwatch.com and it wasn't there. It was not there. And so I typed in a few search things on Google News and MarketWatch and the vaccine, and it wasn't there. And so finally, because I happen to know the reporter's name and I happen to know what the study was, et cetera, I typed in enough search terms to actually eventually find it. But that kind of alarmed me. And that was just sort of in the very beginning, right? And so you weren't allowed to even question. Now, look, I mean, how can you have truth eventually come out if you're not willing to explore these issues in both sides? Like if scientists aren't willing to ask the questions because they've already solved for the answer, then you're not even going to have the best science. In terms of Fauci, my goodness. I mean, this is a guy who cared about one thing and one thing only and didn't understand the mental health implications of what he was doing, didn't understand the implications on children's education and how Americans would fall behind because of what he was doing, didn't understand the economic implications of what he was doing. And he didn't listen to anyone else. We know that. I mean, by the way, Rand Paul is all over this right now, and he is demanding from the Biden administration to know just exactly how much money was spent on that research over in the Wuhan lab. So we'll see whether or not he gets answers. He certainly deserves them.